Hey folks, Owen here again with another battle report, and this is actually take 2 of this battle report because thanks to Sean Gill I managed to get this thing taken off the air. For some reason I was messing with my settings and I had duplicated all my, well I think I changed the timings and voices were all over the shop, so I took it off and it's taken me a day to get it back to here because I had to delete everything and restart, but whatever. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to get this out to finish up my games that I've had before I'm going to this tournament, which is in 2 weeks time now, so time is flying by. In Warhammer, which is now going to be known as the Age of Sigmar. Whether that's good or bad, we'll find out, but I think it's going to be quite good. Everything seems to point towards that. There's going to be a narrative book coming out, and then a week after that there'll be probably a couple of starter boxes and 2 players. It should be good to see how it goes. I mean, what they have said is it's going to all include all the models that we have so far. It'll be set in the future, and you know, if it includes everything and gives a little small starter point for people to jump into and play it as well, it might be a good thing. And well, it has to be a good thing. I mean, what else can you do? You need to get people interested in fantasy, and if they can't really play a game until they get to 2,500 points or 2,400, 2,200, that's a long time having to paint a lot of models. And you know, painting models is supposed to be an enjoyable thing, but if you really have to paint a lot of models to get to play a game against people, I mean, that's not very fucking enjoyable, really. If you have to speed paint, whatever, 40 dwarves, I mean, how much fun is that going to be? Fucking no fun. That's how much it is. I managed to speed paint, I think it was 10, and that was not fun. And the models look very nice, but it was not fun. So yeah, if it's an easier sell for people to get in and play games, and you know, if we get a few more people down the club to play games, because we got quite a good fantasy setup now. I think we got 12 to 14 people that play or that can play, and if that would expand to 20, 25, I mean you're looking at something that's pretty cool. I mean, that's really what you want. It's not so much the tournaments for me, it's the weekly play against people who just want to have a fun game, you know, and if that works out better, then it's great. Well, simply I'm just going to start off this now, and it's the same army as I used the last time, so kick on. So battle line, Legion of the Chaos, Host of the Eternity King, 2,200 points, same as last time. We did get the scenarios off Barry, but they are card based, where you'll have missions. I think it's kind of like a South Coast GT thing, where you'll have missions to do and you can chop someone's head off or take a build or whatever, fucking whatever. We'll find out how it works because I don't really care. So we just went for straight battle line, and just to I suppose just to get a game in. Same army as last time, and Dave was using a slight variation of the same army that he used the last time as well. Stuck up these cards because I might as well. Rolled up Blades, Curse, and Wind. Curse is great. Wind, not so great. It's quite high, and I mean, I suppose I'm a level 4, but I don't really want to. I only have one main magic caster, and I don't want them cascading, so I don't want to be throwing loads of dice at stuff. Blades isn't too bad. It's not really going to do too much for me, but I will be probably able to cast it quite a lot because nobody really wants to bother stopping Blades Putrefaction. And the main reason I cast that is try and get my 6 from my Nurgle, as you can see there, lore attribute. If I can get this guy up to toughness 6, he'll be a far different guy than a toughness 5 guy with no save. That's right, no save. I think it's probably mad of me to be playing this guy in the tournament, but I don't care because it's a deadly model, so there you go. So yeah, again, it's a redo, so I haven't bothered to put turns on it, arrows, anything like that, because I mean, it's just going to take too long, and I'll end up not getting it done at all. So this is my setup on the left hand side, well, left to middle, something like that. So the main thing I wanted to do was make sure my trolls were nowhere near his dark shards like they were the last time, because they got destroyed. So they were probably one of the last things I put down, and they're very, very far away. So I mean, it remains to be seen. If it's a good idea to have them away from the attack line. I mean, you have to have them somewhere very, very useful because they're a strong point-filled unit. But there's no point putting them in the middle if they're going to be pin cushions. So trolls on the left with Throg. My old pal Blobe is there in the middle, and my Demon Prince there right in front of the 10 horrors. And I have left my Marauders on the painting table, so they're just at the top, being replaced by assorted trash that I could find. Then a bit further to the right, I have the 2 chariots, skull crushers, and my BSB. And then on to the Dark Elves. So this is fast as fast could be. So we have 2 units of Dark Riders, Warlocks with a level 4 who's on metal, a Reaper Bolt Thrower, and then you'll have the 20 Dark Shards just hanging off the left hand side. And as you can see, the 20 dark shards. Then we have a large unit of these dragon princes again. Oh, a large unit with the banner of the world dragon. Having to face this thing again is horrifying, because I love that banner. It's wonderful. He has, I think, a prince in there as well as him, and they have all sorts of +2 strength swords and +1 strength swords. So yeah, that's not going to be nice if they manage to hit me. Then we have dark riders on the left hand side and another bolter at the top. So turn 1, and pretty much just move forward and go. I didn't want to move too far forward, and another thing I decided to do was to leave my BSB further away from my trolls to see how many times they would fail their stupidity test. I'm just curious to see how it'll go, because it's a friendly game. So I wanted to see what my luck would be like, really, and see if they would survive with leadership 9, which is what the demon prince is. So I put him over here, maybe to raid around the side, and I turned the chariot over there as well to give me an arc in case any dark riders come trying to fly in down the side. Then my skull crushers just wander up a little bit. Back here over on the left, then we have didn't move too far up, really. I moved a fair bit, but I wanted to try and keep together. So I have put the demon prince there, ready to fly around. Chariot on the right, so if he does manage to move far up with his cavalry, he'll be going straight in, do some hits, because they're not magical. Hopefully he will get rid of 1 or 2 of them. And then Blobe is moved up in range so he can fire off his puke, which is handy. But Blobe's puke was not as good as it was the last time. Last time I killed half the unit, this time I only killed 1. But still, getting rid of 1 guy is probably statistically not too bad, considering this thing is usually either misfiring or moving away. So I think this is straight on to turn 1, because my magic didn't do much. Actually, I lie, it did. I managed to cast blades, as I had suspected I would get through, because you didn't want to bother keep doing it. And I put blades on some unit, I don't know who it was. And I rolled a 6, so now toughness 6 with 9 wounds, and that makes me feel a lot better, because toughness 6 actually means quite a lot compared to toughness 5. So I mean, if these guys are charging with their lances, their strength, I think they're strength 4 base with +2 strength 6, and now I'm toughness 6, so instead of 3s, 4s. That's quite good, I think that's quite good. Alright then, so we kick off. Dark Riders come down a little bit. They've lost 1 of their number because my javelins took 1 of them out. I was lucky. He didn't move them down too far though, because he's just afraid of my trolls coming up and getting behind. Dragon Princes then turned and moved a slight bit, not too much. Again, we're quite fast moving, and if we hit quite hard. So we didn't want to move too far. Plus he has a lot of shooting, so I will have to get there quite quick. Then the Dark Shards themselves, I don't think they moved at all, because they have Skull Crushers in their sights and they want to batter them. And on the right then, he chaps up my Skull Crushers with the Dark Riders, who are awesome. And on the right hand side, he slowly moves across, because, well, just because. So over here, there are 2 missing, and that is because he miscast and killed 2 of his own models. He was casting a spell, and I think it's on the next slide. Yes, indeed it is. Enchanted Blades of Avalon, which is a really good spell. So it's going to be pretty nice from when he's trying to hit my Skull Crushers, which all the shots do. I think he fires everything he has into these guys, and their armor is cool, but it's not cool enough. So I lose 1, and 1 guy goes down to 2 wounds. So on to my turn 2, I believe, and so Throg and his friends move up a little bit. Those walls are just difficult terrain. We were using everything pretty much as difficult, so if we go over we take a test, but otherwise it's fine. I moved the Demon Prince up there. In my plan was to fireball them. Probably not the best move really, but I thought it would be a good idea at the time. Unfortunately, what I tend to do sometimes is forget these things, which I did. Works out better for me in the long run, but yeah, I forgot that sort of stuff. So I think one of the things I need to do for these tournaments is focus on stuff. Anyway, I managed to chaff up his guys as well, so I've only got, well, I've got 3 left. They're very lucky not to be killed there, because the Bolter and the 4 main Dark Riders shot at them, so I really got away with it. So these guys have made back a lot of points, I think, because they're going to hold these guys up for a turn. Moving on to the next one. Now, as I see the template, I actually say to myself, was that Blades I got off, or was that Plague Wind? And I think it was a Plague Wind, which scattered from my head about a couple of inches and then moved directly over these guys, who I think half them passed their toughness and then the other half passed their reward. So I was incredibly lucky not to lose quite a lot of my man. So moving on, then I move, as far as I know, I actually moved these guys a bit further up. I just didn't show it in the slide. I moved Blobe up a little bit, move him up in 6 so he can fire at those guys again, and just leave the chariot within a certain distance. So if he does go into me, he is just a little bit off overrunning into my chariot. Oh, and the skull crushers there go into the side as well. Forgot about that. Then I moved the chariot over here, and I left my BSB just kind of getting an arc on these guys. So if they do, they can only move a certain distance, and I should still be able to see them no matter what. So Curse of the Leper goes off, and I give these guys +2 toughness, which I think I will need, because once I overrun and go into a no man's land, I will be blown to pieces. So the toughness is what I need. And the next side is, I'm not too sure why they lost the guy, can't remember. What I do know is that I did actually miscast the last spell, Curse of the Leper, and I took a wound on this guy because he has no save. So there you go, I lost my extra wound, so that's okay, back down to 8. And then he takes shot, and then he hits. Actually no, I deviated by 2, but I still hit loads of guys, and I managed to take out 4, so that's really good. I'm whittling these guys down, and hopefully by the time they make it into my lines, there'll be a lot less left. Over here, the Skull Crushers kill these guys, and they do overrun, but I don't think I have it on the picture. And then that's onto the Dark Elves. So I get chaffed up by the old pals, the old riders, who run away from the Demon Prince laughing as he kind of stares into space because he's thick, like his owner. Dragon Princes then go into my Marauder Horsemen, who just stay where they are. There was no point in fleeing, really. So yeah, just leave them there. And that's it. And sorry, I'm just being distracted here by my demon cards, which I've just bought, and I've shuffled them up, and now they're all over the shop. Never mind. So yeah, over here, these guys had overrun, and now he moves his warlocks right beside him, so he's in quite a good space to doombolt pretty much anything he wants. Hopefully he's not near enough to doombolt my 0 fucking save guy, or else I'm in trouble. So spells go off, and I had to make a choice, and really with my I'm only a level 3 for dispelling, and I think I usually have one or two dice less than him in most of these phases, so I really have to kind of pick and choose what to dispel. And because these guys have 1+ save, and they're not really, well, you know, there's 2 of them left. If he shoots them, fine, I mean they'll die, but at least nothing else is getting shot. At least my wizard guy isn't getting shot. So Plague of Rust, lose 1 on my armor, fuck it, so what, I'll take it. Unfortunately then Enchanted Blaze goes off again, so not so hot for me. And obviously the Dragon Princes make short work of the 3 Marauder Morons, and they fly along, but it does leave them a nice space for a couple of charges from me. And that's exactly what we do. So Trog and his mates go into the Dark Riders, and I say, why not? Let's get some fun going on here. So at the top, the Demon Prince goes and just moves 1 inch away from those guys so we can breath weapon them. Meanwhile, Blobe and Chariot number 1 go straight into these guys, and hopefully they'll kill a couple. Hopefully. I'm hoping that the War of Attrition is going to work for me, because I have a load of wounds on my side. But I will probably be losing a couple of checks. Just another picture over here. I just managed to have an arc there onto the bow thrower, so that's where these guys are going to go. So get them out of harm's way, really. But I'm hoping there won't be many things to shoot them soon enough. And then I moved my BSB as close as I could. I couldn't get any closer, unfortunately. So he is within distance of the Chariot, but he is not within distance of Blobe. And there's Blobe, looking good. And just this picture because he looks good. So fiery breath weapon goes off, and the elves do burn very well, very well. That was it was a bit kind of ridiculous, because I think I actually hit with 18 and he made 2 6s saves. So yeah, pretty heavy stuff. And the Skull Crushers make it 2 for 2 as they wipe out this guy as well. So I think they actually ran a bit further than that, but I didn't move them all the way. And Throg and his mates bashed the other guy. Funnily enough, his guys did 3 wounds to me and knocked me out. For some reason, I lost the guy, but they might have shot at me as well, somebody else. But yeah, I've lost the troll, but so, there you go. And the big combat. This is the one is probably going to make or break me, really, because these guys, even though there's only, what, 6 of them left, if I leave them unchecked, they can probably bash through a lot of guys. So, Blob goes in, and he causes 2 wounds to the prince, which is pretty good. Unfortunately, he gets hit by 2 wounds, so he negates everything that he did. So I still have a flank and a charge, so that's +2. Unfortunately, that's taken away by his BSB and his dude, so that's 0. So my chariot goes in, does 1 impact hit. No, sorry, I think he did 3, but only managed to kill 1 guy. So that's not great, and he takes 3 in return. So I'm pretty sure I lose by 2 in this one. Demon Prince is still 12 away from Blob as far as I remember, so I was on a 9, -2 is a 7, and my chariot is now on a 6 with a reroll. But lucky enough, they both managed to pass. So this is on to the next Dark Elf turn, and he decides to charge in with his Dark Riders, which I think was a good idea, really, because, I mean, if he can get rid of him and do extra wounds, I mean, actually no, because if they're just in with him, then they will be out of the combat, I think, won't they? Yeah, I think they were out of the combat, but still, going in there means they should be able to get rid of my 4 strength 5 attacks, and he should be alright. Over here then, the Warlocks don't try to go too far. They're in a good distance where they can either Doombolt my BSB or my Demon Prince, which is probably going to be the most likely because he hasn't got a 3-up rerolling 1 save. Again, Plague of Rust goes off again. I don't bother dispelling it because I might as well just leave it. At this stage there's not much to shoot at them anyway, and I really wanted to stop the Doombolt that was going to come at them next. And I do believe I stopped the Doombolt that happened next. So good choice for a change. So yeah, what have we got here? I kill the Prince. Blob kills the Prince. The Prince does 2 more wounds to me, so I'm on 5. I'm on, what am I on now? I have 3 wounds left. Not so hot. So I move into combat with, I think it's his champion or something like that. Meanwhile, down the bottom, the Dark Riders chop up my chariot, who had only 1 wound left. So that's not great. So Blob loses by, let me see, he loses by 2? No, he loses by 1. So I'm still in range of my Demon Prince. I'm not sure if I'm in range of my BSB. I don't think I am. So I was on an 8 with a reroll. And that 8, actually with no reroll, so I fail that and I run away. Luckily enough, this is the start of the next turn, and I managed to rally, so he didn't have to run too far. So I'm right in front of his guys. He missed me by an inch, so very, very lucky. I swift reform my trolls and move them up just a little bit, so I can do my Throg Puke attack, which I've never actually done before, but is quite sickening with strength 5 and no armor save. And then my BSB goes into the back of those Dark Riders. And I'm just hoping that if Throg's Bright Weapon doesn't go to plan, he can kill those guys and hopefully roll 2 6s and go to the back of them. So meanwhile, Demon Prince charges the 4 remaining guys, and the Skull Crushers just do a little walkie down towards the last bolt thrower. And this is pretty much near enough to the end of the game, really, because Throg does his puke and he gets rid of the rest of the guys, and all he has left is a Battle Standard Bearer, I think. I think that's all he has left. Is that the BSB or is that the other guy? I don't know. He has something left anyway, who cares? And this guy, my BSB, destroys the other Dark Riders and flies up. I think he gets a 10, so he's quite close, but he didn't make it. Demon Prince then gets rid of the final 4 of the Dark Shards and casts his beady eye over at the Warlocks. and on to turn 5 or 4 or something. I don't know what turn it is. So yeah, Dave doesn't have much left. He's got a massive unit. He's got a big unit of warlocks with a dirty sorceress. So she wanders over and has a look at my Demon Prince and says, "I'm gonna blow your fucking head off." Meanwhile, his BSB is all he has left over here. So I think he thinks. I think he just goes, "Look, fuck it. I'll go in here and see what I can do to this guy. And maybe beat him in combat, drive him off. You never know what's going to happen." So he throws them in, and there you go. And unfortunately that did not go to plan at all, because I have quite a lot of attacks and I had Blaze off again, so I did loads of poisons and I managed to do quite well. So good stuff from Blobe. He does a little job and kills someone. Over here then, these guys had, I think, gotten into combat with the bolt thrower at some stage and they killed it. So the Demon Prince charges over and uses his big axe on the dirty warlocks. And the BSB pops over to give him a bit of moral support, wave his flag. And he kills a few guys, and that's pretty much it. We just ended up here because this is all Dave had. And actually, if I had any brains and if we were paying attention, I would have targeted his sorceress and lopped her head off instead. But yeah, that's the end of the game. So there we go, curtain raised, curtain gone, and end of game. But as it is in Machohammer, everybody wins. Well, some win more than others because they've killed loads more. But anyway, Dave, well, actually, did Dave kill much? I don't think he did. But the lineage accounts killed the most, as was the last time. Yeah, we killed quite a lot, and everything seemed to go my way. So not particularly amazing for me, generalship. It's just I have an army that doesn't need much brains, and I just have to push it forward and hope I don't have to get caught on the hop. And luckily enough, I didn't. My one massive weak link is my fancy wizard, who has no save whatsoever, but I don't really give a shit because he looks really good. So look, who cares? That was a lot of fun, and Dave had himself a good time as well. I mean, he had a few smokes and he had a laugh and fucking so what. That's all you need to do, isn't it? I think we're pretty much the only people playing Warhammer down the club these days. Another guy, Steph, has just started up, and he comes down the odd time for a 1600 point game, but it's very rare there's a game of fantasy going on now because of, well, I suppose kind of the upheaval that's going on in the Warhammer fantasy battle world, which is fair enough. I mean, even I'm starting off, and a lot of guys are now doing 500 point 40k games, hoping to get my first one in on Thursday. I have a Space Wolf kind of pack, I suppose they call them, that I got in the Stormclaw, and I've been looking to use them for a while, although I kind of more lean towards Necrons because I like the robots and all that sort of shit. It seems a bit of fun. But yeah, so it'd be fun to learn a new system while we're waiting for this to come on. Plus it'll be good fun to go up and play some more games of Warhammer. So play games, that's all we want to do. Play games of pretty much anything really, as long as it's fun. And that's pretty much it. This is the end of this game and the end of my probably test games and fun games until Age of Sigmar comes out, and until this tournament as well. So chances are I probably won't get any battle reports up from this tournament by the time Age of Sigmar comes out, because I don't have a lot of time to do these nowadays, and well, hopefully I'll maybe get one or two up before it hits. But anyway, I think Age of Sigmar is going to be a lot of fun, and I think everyone should probably just relax, because you will be able to use all your stuff. It just means you'll have to maybe buy a new box to maybe play the smaller set with a bit of fun. I still think you'll be able to play everything else, and it's not going to be that drastic of a change. I mean, fluff wise it is a huge change, because I mean every single book now just is actual history. The world is gone, history, whatever. I just started reading Blackhearts, and it's really good, but now I'm looking at it going, fucking hell, what's the point in reading this? All this is dead. But then again, I mean, a book's a book, so if you enjoy it, it doesn't really matter. Alright, so listen, I hope you enjoyed it, and apologies if you did get caught out with the first one, which was a fucking mess. So thanks again to the guy who told me. So there you go. All the best. Thanks very much.